I'll go.
Good.
So yeah, Jillian will before you know guys settle down for the evening. Whoever's like with Davis and Julian interacting, he will ask one of y'all to basically man the wheel for a moment. It's not going to be difficult as
I'll
it is.
say, Rock kind of like doing that. If he's nearby. If Rock's nearby, I'll like wave him over.
Ooh. Oh, I was staring at the wheel. I'm staring at the wheel, just wistfully hoping that somebody will ask me to. Because the last time
waving you over then. Now's your chance.
I'm in. I run over.
All right. So with Rocky getting the wheel, whoever else is there, Julian will take you down.
I was like, and before we go, I'll be like, just don't do anything. No big movements. Just keep it straight.
Got it.
Okay.
This is kind of like I guess what you would typically see in a ship, or even if it's not like a giant gondola or whatever, or a seafaring ship, it still does kind of have where the wheel is on a bit of a raised area, and the deck is kind of below, so there is like a couple steps that you can kind of go down, and conveniently in that raised area and on the deck is kind of where the captain's quarters is, and that's where you guys go. And he kind of invites you in. Opening the doors, they had some chimes, ding, simple, simply adorned captain's quarters. But he does have his workstation, his desk there, and he'll go and he just on top, he just starts grabbing a few things, and he turns to the group and he's like, Sarah and Hava and them said that you might want to read this. They found some more information about, well, the person that you're probably going to run into on your venture. They marked the pages for you guys. I hope you don't mind. I was bored and I read some of it.
Are we all here, or is this?
Whoever wants to be here, besides Rock, because he's manning the wheel.
Who's here?
I'm following because I wanted to head down another level to go to sleep as soon as possible because I'm fucked up.
So this is still be on the main deck, though, right?
Yeah. So this is like main deck, main deck.
Yeah.
And then the on the rear of the ship, there's an elevated section, and that's where the wheel was. And then in between the main deck and the elevated section, that's actually where the captain's quarters are. Right. So it's like a convenient little area. But yeah, you guys went there, are in there. Whoever's with you, he will hand it to you, and basically he will tell you that looks like they were doing a little bit more research in the few days, and they think they know the individual that you might actually. I mean, they don't think she's there, but there seems to all point tails to this one individual, and like some family history and stuff. So
I would hand it immediately to, if Al or Cal is there, I would hand it to them. If not, then I would go to Grant next.
Sure, whoever. If Al's there. Yeah, okay. Al, what it is it seems to be like one of those tomes that they had in their collection, but this doesn't. It's not like a heavy tome or anything, and it's surprising because when you look at like the title of it, it's not a depiction of arcane casters. It's not founts of magic and sorcery. It's just a book on the history of the region.
That doesn't seem very magical. Okay.
But yeah, he's like, no, it's not. It talks about this Mathshaw family. Apparently, they were servants, or basically, from what I gathered, and you please by all means read it. I guess they basically were like a family that had the favor of the Shepherd of Fate, and apparently they had a daughter that was gifted in magic. And I mean, this was all what 500 some years ago. Apparently, there was a family falling out or something. That they said there's stuff for you guys to uncover, and maybe you'll figure out some things.
Sounds like more reading.
Yeah,
That's why I gave it to
2.5
you.
days.
2.5 days probably. That's Shaw. Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
So yeah, so you basically have a tome with potentially some information.
Mm-hmm.
How much time you spend with it, I'll let you know what you guys find out from it. He's like, there's that, and yeah, that's really the main thing that they left. I guess they wish that I wish you all the best when I run into you. Looks like that's okay. Oh, that's the thing. The girl, they somewhere in there they called her the Fate Renderer. That's what it was. Kind of uncomfortable about that.
What girl?
I'll definitely make a face at that.
The daughter from this there's a falling out from what I gathered by reading. Apparently she took up the mantle or title or something as like Fate Renderer. I think she had something against the Shepherd, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Shepherd of Fate, Fate Renderer, family falling out, family serving. I don't know. I only got to read a little bit.
So is it in common? I'm out of character. I'm asking. Is it?
It was what? That is
Is
correct.
is the language that it's written in common then? I assume.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a tome. It's not a very thick tome. I mean, it is sizable. It does have some age to it, some scuff marks to it. Moderate leather quality. Parchment is, like I said, in various stages of being kept. It's not. It hasn't existed in a library, so, and you're not sure where it came from beforehand. So it has definitely been seen better days. But it's quilled in ink, and it's a history or kind of recount of transactions and families and stuff of the region. But that's it. I guess we should probably, I don't know if you'll want to look at that tonight. I imagine you're tired, but you guys got a couple days. Maybe put some pieces together. Rock, if you could give me a navigator's check. So survival would be a wisdom check for you. I don't think you're proficient in navigator's tools.
Wisdom check, you said?
Yeah. D20 plus wisdom.
Yeah, I am using a dice that has a shell on it. It should. Oh boy, nope. Oh boy. We are.
What is it?
Said we are lost. 6 total.
I mean, I think the river only goes one way,
It only goes one way.
but we could be run aground.
Yeah. As the group starts to head out of the captain's quarters, the boat certainly lurches kind of in one direction. Everyone has to stumble forward and kind of catch themselves. And Rock, you just hold on to the wheel and
I'm gonna immediately run up as soon as the boat starts listing. I'm like, okay, God.
No damage was done. It just he happened to find a little shallow spot.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. We hit something minor. It's okay. I got this. My bad.
My bad.
I'm gonna stay next to him for a little bit anyway.
That's fine. So yeah, I guess at this point it's 2-ish, 3-ish in the morning. So you guys did have a pretty eventful day. Al, are you going to bed? Are you doing anything now?
Fate Renderer makes me so curious, but I didn't know it was 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm probably gonna go to bed.
Okay.
I'm keeping the book closed and I'm thinking about it as I fall asleep.
Gotcha. Cal, he will. What will Cal do? Cal will shift into a a little cat, or no, let's do cat, whatever. Cats can climb. And then there's not like a giant sail mast. There is some sort of mast structure. And then he will run up there and find the little, almost like a mini bird's nest kind of thing, and settle down and curl up under the stars for the night. Davis, what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, as soon as we're relieved of command on the wheel, I would just go back to sleep. I need sleep, so I would just go under and find a hammock or whatever's down there and sleep.
Gotcha.
Pebble goes and hangs out with Catasaur.
Grant Frostmison?
Grant is probably heading to bed
Yeah.
straight. He's a little hurt and he's pretty spent.
Gotcha. Marb?
Following Grant, Marp's pretty spent as well. So,
Alright.
sleepy time.
Okay. And then Rock?
Am I not steering the boat for a while?
Yeah, we was steering it for a while with Davis.
Yeah, I'll just steer till I gotta go to bed, and then I'll be super tired because I stayed up boating.
That's okay. Yeah, you're still. It's not like a taxing thing that you're doing, so you're still able to. Essentially, you're still resting while kind of. You're doing a very mundane task, right? Doing anything that's.
Oh, I know. See, I'm taking it very seriously
It's
because
true.
I'm like all in on this, so it's actually very stressful for me. Okay. I crash the boat because I like steering the boat.
All right, that's fine.
I don't want to lose my privileges.
Gotcha. So I guess Davis and Rock, anything you guys are discussing while Julian's just kind of taking it easy, since you guys have the wheel for the time.
I'll just ask Davis about like your weapon that you had that we had issues with. Any more thoughts on that?
I mean, it was only yesterday that I think it was only yesterday that we talked.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it still felt good using it today, right? But it was. You remember when I would kind of activate it and like I would kind of become wreathed in flame or wreathed in kind of energy? I can't do that anymore. But I don't know. We'll see if I have any like weird dreams. Yeah, we'll see if I have any like weird dreams. That was what concerned me the most.
Yeah. Well, let me know if anything comes up on it. I'm very curious about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you don't get the.
Well, so real quick, what do you know about like magical items and like relics and things like that? Because and what do you know of like the area around Volpine? I heard this was. You remember heard talk of Carver? Supposedly this may have been from there. I don't know if you'd heard that before. Maybe I mentioned that. I don't remember. But after we're done, we're doing whatever we're doing, that might be a place that I'd like to go kind of check out. But obviously we have some work to do.
Yeah, my skills kind of lie in being able to figure out what something does to a limited extent. Yours seems a little more like it's doing more than what I can figure out. So
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you're doing okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just a little beat. We had a bit of a day. I'm just happy that Tommen's alive for one, even though. I mean, let's be real. Tommen looks way better than he did before. Right? Am I the only one who's thinking that? Am I the only one who's gonna say that?
I mean, I think he'll grow into it, but I feel like we kind of ruined those guys' lives. Seems
Yeah.
like everywhere we go, we hurt things.
I mean, no. I mean, we saved all of Volpine. You like set up a whole new town full of big people. Like we've helped people. We've been doing good things. Like yeah, it's not perfect and things have to.
And yet, somewhere Simon's lurking about, and there's that.
Oh, I haven't forgot about that.
Quad bear pig thing that's running around. Who God knows what happened to that.
Yeah, I mean, we can't protect everyone. I've kind of had to wrestle with that. That's like I want to help as many people as I can, but there's a limit. And so I want to say we're doing the best we can.
I still struggle with that. I'm not so used to being around people that if I see somebody who needs help, I want to help them.
Yeah, we found you just in the woods, right? So what were you doing there? I don't think we ever really talked about this.
I kind of got lost from my village.
Is it near Volpine?
No, long walk away. And then I just I met somebody in the woods by chance, and we traveled together for a time, and then we parted ways, kind of weird, and I've just been traveling alone ever since, just trying to see the world. I don't know, wherever my feet take me. I kind of wear myself off of people kind of quickly before, because I I don't always think of the consequences of what I do, I guess.
I
Yeah.
noticed. I'm not.
Not a lot
I'm
of
not
people
perfectly
see me
innocent in
around.
that respect either, though. So
Right. So I've spent a lot of time alone visiting place to place, but um, I also would like to try and find my friend. They kind of just went missing on me one night, and
oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, do you want to bring that up with the group sometime later, or you want to just keep it between you and me, or?
I don't talk about it much, but if people ask questions, I probably could. I not a painful story by any means. It's more of a mystery to me. I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I couldn't do what I could do till that person came around though, so they
So
might have
did
had a
he
hand.
give you this, and then I'll like point to your little coral thing?
No, the coral thing came from a nice old lady in town. Pretty much the only old lady in my birth village that would put up with me until the end. Everybody else I wore my welcome off with, but she gave it to me on my last day and said to take it with me because she wouldn't see me again. And then weirdly enough, I never saw her again since then because I got lost. I never thought of that. I wonder how she knew I would get lost that night.
I
She
mean,
cast a spell on me.
with what we've seen, who knows how people know all sorts of stuff? I don't get it.
Yeah, it was. She was nice though. She wouldn't have cast. She was very nice. Used to tell me stories, or I'd tell her stories, and she'd tell me some back. But she'd look after me when I hurt myself, and I'd pay her in my little adventures. She took a lot of delight in all of the villagers that I kind of upset.
Oh, were you playing tricks on him, or what were you doing?
No, when I was little, I was very curious,
Ah.
so I would get into everything.
So did you come from like? So you're a turtle, and did you grow up around other turtles mostly, or what?
Yeah, so like when you're like, I don't know, what do you know about turtles? It's like
I'm
we're
looking. You're
born
looking
and
at
you're
it, or I'm looking at it, I should say.
yeah. So when I was born, you stick with your family for a bit, but your parents are very very old, and they shared what they could with us until they passed, and I was one of the last ones to hang around for their stories because I just love stories. And then you kind of are just on your own. We have villages where you can like trade things, and some people live, some especially some of the older folks. But mostly you just kind of go out and make it on your own. And I wasn't very good at that at the start, so that's why the old lady helped me a bunch. She
Okay.
kind of kept me going.
Sounds nice.
And then yeah, and then that was my life, just trying to get by and survive and find things and learn about things because everything in the world is super exciting.
And you chose to go see the rest of the world, huh?
I didn't so much choose as I was in the woods and then a storm hit and I got lost
Oh
and
no.
then I got attacked and then I met my traveling buddy.
So
And
could you even find your way back if you had like a map or something?
I'm sure I could go back that way, but there's no reason to. I have nothing that ties me there. So we traveled away from it and then I just decided that you know what, I've seen that. There's so much more to see elsewhere.
Was your friend from your town as well?
No.
Oh. You said you met
No.
him in the woods.
Yeah. He stumbled across me when I was
Was it a bear, like Dragnar's brother?
No, it was a tabaxi, actually.
Oh.
Which you had kind of guessed earlier when we met those other tabaxis.
Oh, okay. Is that why
So
I
every
think you
time I
gave her
see
all
one,
your
I get
money, right?
Hmm?
I think I saw you giving her all your money, right?
Yeah,
Is that
I guess I have a soft spot for them.
No, I understand soft spots. Oh, wow,
Plus,
you're a
those
lot.
bandits were just awful. Like possibly good people in just bad spots, and they didn't know what they were doing. I don't think they wanted to do what they were doing.
Yeah, they had no clue how to do what they were trying to do. Like they just. But hopefully they're set on the right path now. So.
Yeah, I'd like to look in on them sometime.
Is that something you can do? Oh, you mean
No,
like go
I mean,
visit
like,
him?
actually travel there when we're done all this
Uh,
hag stuff. I'd like to go see the black person.
Gotcha.
See if we made a difference. As long as Marb doesn't kill anyone.
I have definitely no promises on that one.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Guy. Yeah. Yeah, Pebble come down and hang out with us now.
Okay.
Like cats.
Cool. So yeah, with that discussion, it gets a little late. Some time ends up passing. Uh, it's a very quiet and uneventful drift down a river, and as a small river, and then as you guys do spend a couple hours just kind of manning it, eventually Julian will rise and, yeah, thanks for letting me get the power nap in. I'll go ahead and get under and get some sleep, and sleep in by all I care. All I care. We're really going only one way.
Yeah, I know the river does most of the work at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks.
Rock, steady hand. Good job.
Thank you.
David,
I'm
you're good
all
team.
wild with that.
And yeah, you guys are able to head down where you find the rest of your group already soundly asleep in the suspended hammocks as best they could, or in some piles of hay. It, Down here, there are some more crates of cargo and everything. And unbeknownst to you two, as you're cutting down, there are a couple individuals not from your group sleeping soundly.
Do I recognize anybody?
Go ahead and give me a investigation check.
Oh, my best thing. 14.
There's one of those guys that was giving you trouble from the dock,
Haha, yeah.
but other than that,
I pointed out to Marb, and I think was it Calisaur was with me?
yeah, there currently is. Well, Cal's up asleep in the
Oh, right,
mid,
the crow's nest.
and yeah, Marb would have been out for a few hours by now. So
I'll just chuckle to myself like, that guy.
yeah, so you guys managed to find some sleep, get some rest. It's they're tired, so it's easy to fall asleep. And as the night happens, you drift off. I would like to focus our attention on one Allegretto.
Finally!
Hi.
Like 6
Three
sessions later.
sessions later?
3 sessions later.
30 sessions? My goodness.
Yeah, I know. Just the worst DM at weaving in plot stuff. So Al, a little bit of notes and flashback from what happened the day before the group decided to depart. You, Cal, Rock, went amongst yourselves throughout the town to gather supplies and resources that were depicted in the scrawlings for the ritual that you had agreed, or essentially won and agreed to be the recipient of its boons. Cal spent most of his time druid crafting the needed flowers and brambles and such. He did also venture down to the riverside and get some of these smooth stones. Rock had supplied some of the candles, the chalks, and the ivory strips that had been found. While you were looking around, heading around town, you happened to stumble across. Well, you heard rumor from some people at the Avengers League that some goat herders had come in, and that some of the taverns had been buying up their goats for slaughter, for feasts, or for meals. And you needed some hooves, you needed some eyes, you needed some pelts, you needed some horns, and you needed some other pieces. And you were able to essentially very easily bargain to basically take these products off of them. Some of them were a little bit harder because maybe they wanted to use the horns and stuff, cook them down and with the hooves and maybe make some sort of glue. But for the most part, you were able to get everything you needed. So now you are lying mostly, barely clothed in the back area of the Adventurers League. Al, Cal, and Rock you've all set up the appropriate chalk circles with an inner circle where you are in. You've carefully and intricately laid the stones, the plants, the hooves, the horns, the pelts, as best as you could. As you're lying there on your back, there's a very strong irony smell that comes from the paste that you had made from the blood and some of the chalk that had drawn some of the lines and scrawlings across your arms, your chest, your neck, your face. It's a heavy scent. And as you're laying on the ground, your eyes closed, listening to Cal essentially reciting and chanting with candles lit around you, strange implements, I guess, and materials for a ritual around you. The strange collection that encircles you is those smooth river stones, the lit candles, the ivory strips, and the local fauna. The goat horns are placed, above your head, essentially, almost accentuating and amplifying the subtle horns that your tiefling heritage provides you. There's also the fresh tongue from one of the goats that you had acquired that is also in between the two horns. The sharp bramble bush that you guys were able to conjure with Calisaur's help is placed on your chest to the point where it pricks, but it does not hurt. It does not cause you discomforting pain. A little bit of, a constant reminder that it's there, as it does have some weight and it does press against your skin. Time passes as you're laying there and you just feel silly. Calisaur continues to read. He continues to chant. You close your eyes. You're not sure what Rock is doing, but you know he's there. You are not certain when, but eventually you lose track of time. Entering this half sleep state, a daze. Before you know it, you become aware to one more sound that seems to be everywhere, and it's the sound of a rolling storm, the rumbling of the thunder. You hear rain. Shortly after, you feel rain, and then you quickly become soaked. The mud, blood, chalk, drawings and scrawlings from across your body, you can feel them beginning to wash away, and that warmth that you had start to also wash away as you now begin to shiver, lying on the ground. The blood begins to coagulate into tiny little clots. You notice this. And as they begin to clot, you see little whipping tendrils begin to lash out, as if going towards the ground, as if digging. Disappearing in the wet earth, a moment passes, and you feel something. No. You feel dozens, hundreds, thousands of squirming, wiggling worms rising up from the ground, crawling all over you. You instinctively go to move your head up, but you can't. It's as if you're paralyzed. You open your eyes and you see Rock sitting there just observing, and Callus are reading and chanting, and they don't seem to be in any form of panic, or really, they're just trying to sit through the rain as best they can. You try to move your arms. You wipe away what you think you wipe away. You're not sure if your arms are moving. You try to kick, but nothing happens. You let out a yell, and that moment where you open your mouth, the worms, they cascade and as it like fall into your mouth, crawling up your chest and start asphyxiating you and suffocating you, and you feel as if your chest is about to explode. You feel yourself lose consciousness. Unknowing how much time has passed, you're abruptly awakened as you have that sensation of falling, your stomach starting to come up into your chest, and you open your eyes. You're falling, you're falling, you're falling, and it's dark. In a distance, there's a crackling sound of blue-yellow lightning exploding, seemingly contacting something as there is a ripple effect. Something you see falls and hits that area where the lightning struck. But you are not on land. As you saw ripples, it's like a glass-like ocean. As you step, each ripple continues out, and each ripple traveling infinitely towards the horizon. But then you realize there's a set of ripples coming your way as well. What do you do?
Pause for a moment, then keep walking forward towards the ripples.
Gotcha. All right. You take another step, and another step, and another step. But then you go and you try to move and you become stuck. You try lifting your legs. You try forcing your way through, but you can't seem to move. Something is holding you back. Your vision goes downwards, and you are waist deep in this ebony tar. As you look up, a dark entity is but inches from your face, cricking its neck, moving side to side. You instinctively try to leap back, but you can't move. Instead, the entity takes a deep squat. It's lanky, long. It's got a limp nature to it. Perhaps it's a dozen feet tall or so. The lightning strikes again, illuminating the distance and illuminating the figure. You see a vaguely humanoid form made up of squirming worms and blood clots held together by melted wax. It has goat horns adorned that would be roughly where you would imagine its head to be. The burning candle wicks making up two of its eyes. Squinting and focusing your vision, you see the smooth river stones and ivory drips, making up some sort of internal skeleton, yet you can see it as if he's not whole. The goat's tongue hangs between the entity's legs and slathers as it begins to speak. Thank you for giving me this quite interesting form, young tiefling. Do you say anything or do anything?
Is he speaking common as far as I know?
You understand what he's saying.
Okay. I'm gonna reply, what are you called?
It gets down on all fours, but not like a bear crawling, but more like a crab walk, and just kind of scuttles around you and comes back. I don't think I have one of those names. Something to be called. As it's moving, no ripples are being made at this point. You're still stuck in this ebony tar. Anything?
I'm gonna try to maintain eye contact. I'm gonna try to stay fierce, knowing that I can't move.
Give me a wisdom save.
Okay.
Would you roll? Because I'm reading something.
11.
So. 11? Okay. Yeah. He lurches forward in that crab walk stance and puts that waxy, blood clotty, wormy like appendage on your head. And he doesn't push down, but then you realize that you are now chest deep in that tar.
Are my arms consumed?
They're floating above.
Okay.
And you hear a sick, wet in the air as it starts to sniff around you. You stink of luxury and finery.
Let's have it.
It starts to like crickets where its head would be, and this grin opens, but instead of where its teeth are, it's candle wicks, all ablaze, burning. Why do you parade around as an adventurer?
I have my goals. I want to say while Al is trying to keep a composure, he
Mhm.
is definitely breathing quickly, more
Mhm.
quickly than he should be.
Okay. Goals. And he kind of does this like wet sucking sound, and then just candle smoke, just all up in your face. It's thick, it's heavy. You start to cough, and because you're breathing heavily, you start to cough heavy. You sink deeper into the tar, a little bit with each cough, and now you are neck deep, arms submerged, tilting your head up to avoid sinking further and getting into this foul tar into your mouth. The entity lurches forward, placing that same worm-like appendage, wax-like appendage over your head, and then gently, almost condescendingly pats you. And you feel some of the wax kind of stick. And it takes like, it's like, now look at yourself. The weapons, the armor, instruments, knickknacks, useless. Tell me, Tiefling, why does one so light of their feet wear so much armor?
I will not fall. What do you want? What do you want with me?
You're the one that asked me here. I'm trying to figure you. Tell me, how does one who moves so quietly make such a ruckus and noise?
Damn hags, damn sorcerers.
They have nothing with this. I am before that. Tell me, Tiefling, why shouldn't I? And he starts to like kind of move his hand over your essentially mostly submerged body. Why shouldn't I consume you with my worms? You start to feel more and more kind of fall, and some of them are starting to like squirm and try to like get into your ears and into your nostrils and stuff.
Get off me. I still haven't made a name for myself. You can't. This is not in here.
A name? And all of a sudden you like you don't realize what happens, but you're not in tar anymore. You're standing on your feet, back in like the plain glass-like blue ocean. And the entity is just, instead of now lurching, standing tall, and you see its full height, and it's 12, 13 feet tall. Still vulgar, still of the same waxy blood clots, candlewick stones, and all that. What's interesting in a name?
That it stands on its own. It does not care where it came from. It cares what it's made.
Hmm. Well, he kind of like he begins to kind of submerge into the water. You're an interesting example of duality. Hmm. And while that you provided some things for this rite, the auric energies are weak. What can you do? Or what will you do? Will you throw yourself into the maelstrom? And if you're lucky, won't you be torn asunder? He started to speak in like incomplete thoughts and sentences.
Mm.
You say anything, interact. You're standing tall at this point.
You know, I do consider myself lucky sometimes. Maybe this is one of those times.
Well, the entity puts one of its hands kind of like in its back, and you hear this like it's like a breaking sound essentially. And then that same strange crooked grin with the fiery smile opens up and it pulls out its hand, but where the hand was initially, which was like this weird worm-like candle-like appendage, it is now made of that sharp, heavy bramble bush that was resting on your chest. And then before you know it, you are stark naked. Maybe you were before, but now you just realize that you are naked in this space. The bramble hand begins to twitch, and all the brambles begin to buzz, akin to like a modern day tattoo needle. You feel heavy weights on your chest, on your limbs, all over, and you feel these deep impressions onto your skin. Jumping out of the vision, this would be when Calisor and Rock would have seen the pages begin to kick up and swirl amongst the storm and then land upon your body. Still lying motionless as the storm is raging, the candle's not going out, and the ritual continuing. The entity grabs you suddenly with its other hand, grappling you, and plunges its regular hand into your chest. There's nothing you can do. It seeks in, and you feel a weight around, well, where you imagine your heart would be, and then a squeeze. And then you hear a singular, powerful pulse in your head. You scream with agony. The hand remains, and it begins to pull ribbons of blood, and they begin to become affixed to the brambled hand, buzzing, twitching, and then before you know it, quickly jittering all over, it starts to etch where these impressions of weights have manifested on your flesh. The agony is excruciating. You struggle and you fight. Go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
19.
19, nice. You scream through the image. You scream, and you remember then a crack of lightning, and then you wake up in the back of the Adventurers League, wet, exhausted, feeling gray, feeling less of yourself. And then you wake up in the boat now, managing not to scream out loud. You are drenched, soaking wet, and for a moment you look down and you swear you see those impressions of where the pages had pressed against your skin. You blink and they're gone. And you hear that same voice, what's in a name? And that's it.
I didn't have to do push to talk, I would clap.
So one thing, if you recall, right, Callister's not here, but um, Rock and Al, everything that was part of that ritual circle was gone. It was used up, consumed, vamped out of existence. Al, because I don't feel like going into a whisper with this, you realize that when he plunged his hand into your heart and made that weight, that you had to give more to the ritual to be able to complete it. And that is why you know the consequences of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
After I wake up in a stir, I'm gonna whisper under my breath a few times. I forsake my upbringing. I will forge ahead with my own two hands. And I was gonna repeat that a couple times.
sure. Go ahead and just for the sake of it, give me a performance check just to see if you managed to keep keep it quiet enough for. I'm assuming you don't want people to hear you.
11.
Oh.
People are asleep, but so that's my time. Grant, you will at one point in the evening you will hear Al kind of get up in his bed, and you'll maybe kind of peer up. It's difficult to see, but your eyes have kind of adjusted to no light, and you just kind of hear him kind of muttering to himself a little bit. Nothing, you can't really make out what's being said, but it looks, like he got up at one point.
Let's see.
You're,
So I guess I would sit up. Are we like in cots on the boat? Probably.
yeah.
Yeah. So I sit up. Put my feet down, look around. Is everybody just chilling in their beds, or is Al gone?
Al's the only one that seems to be awake right now. And it just seemed, from what you gathered, kind of, it's difficult to see, but it looks like someone that just abruptly woke up.
I'd say I'm sitting up, having tried to look at markings that aren't there.
Al, are you okay?
Yeah. I just had a bad dream. I'm still tired. I'm gonna go back to bed in a minute. Don't mind me.
Okay. Well,
Thanks,
we're all here for
Thanks.
you. If you need to let us know anything, it's all good.
Thank you.
Probably just kind of lay back down then.
Go ahead and give me an insight check, Grant, and then Al, give me a deception check.
Grant is apparently insightful. Oh no, you're deceptive.
I will say, because it is very close, Grant, you don't know what is off about what Al said, but he doesn't seem in a bad place. He doesn't seem like, he had a bad dream. That was a bad dream though. Like just by how he was breathing and the mannerisms in his voice and all that was a bad dream.
Sure. So Grant would probably like lay back down but he would actively not fall asleep. He'd kind of be like maybe a little concerned about Al, so he's just kind of listening, seeing if Al gets up, or he just kind of hangs out for a bit, doesn't go right back to sleep because he is a little off put by maybe Al's and maybe the tone in Al's voice or something. Just something was a little odd. So Grant just lays there, maybe eyes open, just hanging out for a bit tonight.
You definitely believe that he had a bad dream, but you're right on that. So, all right, Al, are you gonna go back to sleep or anything for the evening?
Yeah, deep breath. Say it one more time. as low as I can. I forsake my upbringing and will forge a path ahead with my own 2 hands. And then I'll lay back down and try to go to sleep.
Surprisingly, Al, probably within 5 minutes you fall back asleep.
Nice.
Well, Davis and Rocky, you are more than welcome to sleep in as you see fit.
Yeah.
But everyone, for the sake of it, you will be able to complete a long rest. Previous night, you did not need to knock off any rations or anything like that because of the fishing. Please take stock of inventory of arrows and rations and helo supplies kits because this is important. Reset your items that do get charges. I do believe everyone should be mostly okay. And at least, again, Davis and Rocky are more than welcome to wake up. But Marb, Grant, Cal, Al, you guys all essentially kind of start getting up around the same time, probably a little bit later in the morning. And you hear just kind of the rustling of a few feet above deck. But the morning is yours. And I'll go ahead and do a long rest for Calusor.
So
Marb, before I forget. Yeah, Rock, you got your portents. Okay, so Rock. Not Rock. Marb, you owe me a Constitution saving throw.
Is he still poisoned? Is that a thing?
Not poison. It's.
Still have that weird disease that I got in the sewers.
Go ahead, Rock.
Constitution is 0.
You gotta stop drinking weird water, man.
Don't tell me what to do. God damn it.
So much flavor, so much.
Exactly.
Rock, what were you saying?
Never mind. I don't think it applies. Cal would have said if Marb was still looking rough, he would have done what he could to help him, but I don't think he.
Okay, that's fine. We'll kind of retroactively. How would Cal? What do you think Cal would do, Mister?
Well, he'd already used lesser restoration a month. I thought maybe if he had any other spells or that again, or he was just worried about Marb because Marb looked so rough at the
Gotcha.
mill. So it was just a matter of checking in on him, making sure he was okay.
All right, so go ahead, for the sake of it, give me a medicine check for Calusor.
Come on, Cal.
9 plus whatever his medicine.
5.
I mean, he's pretty decent. If I'm not
Total,
mistaken.
probably.
So, Marb, as you get up in the morning and, Cal kind of heads down from the little perch above and sits with you, and you're still feeling a little lackluster. He kind of looks over you, kind of seems a little more concerned because you were getting the sense that this is not going away. And today marks this being in your system for 5 days. So now, unfortunately, the hit points that you are missing cannot be recovered short of means of powerful magic.
Ooh.
So Cal will kind of look over you and kind of present you with like a tea that he's kind of made, but it's not a hot tea. It's one that he's steeped slowly. And you take it and he's like, hopefully this will help. But I think we're gonna need something special to get rid of what's lingering in your bones and your feathers, my friend.
I was afraid of that, but thanks for trying, man. I appreciate the tea.
It's good tea.
Wop, wop, wop.
Reset maximum, take long rest, confirm. All right, cool. So Calusor should be taking a long rest. All right. So yeah, Marb, go ahead.
Am I in the long rest or am I out of the long rest?
You got a long rest. Yeah. Everybody will go ahead.
For
So yeah.
exhaustion, is it a con save throw?
Nope. You
Just get it.
managed to.
Auto.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you still managed to get, even though you had that nightmare and that flashback, you still managed to get fairly good sleep. So I'm not going to make you like try to make a save or anything to try to get out of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so mechanically speaking, Marb, just somewhere on your character sheet, just so you know, maybe this is something that you can resolve in the future. Just mark that your hit points should be 7 higher than they currently are. But as it stands right now, no more rolls in the morning to try to save.
Just gotta one shot everything from here on out. Just sniper shot, crit, do 20,000 damage every time.
If anybody can do it.
He's still Marb, guys. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm just a little grumpy, like
Yeah.
just feeling, I guess, better, but not full. Like,
No.
Barb suddenly has a peg leg now. We're just like, we don't even notice.
Marv just kind of scratches, takes his cowl off and scratches like the back of his head, and a couple feathers fall out. He's like, "Fuck, going bald." His cowl back on.
No.
Of course not. So, all right, gentlemen. It is the morning again. I don't know if Rock or Davis are continuing to sleep.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Very calming to me.
Well, actually, no. I find the boat exciting, so as soon as people start stirring, I'm up and hoping I can steer the boat again.
All right. Al, you have the part or the tome that Julian had provided you that he got from Sarah and Ava. Above deck, the crew is not a lot of people. The first time you guys were on this boat, short of Calusor, it was just Julian and then Amara. This time, as he mentioned, he actually is doing some work. Y'all are essentially cargo. You do see one of the little skinny humans that was at the dock that was giving y'all a lot of trouble. And you see a older graying Khemri male. And then you see, lastly, you know what? I'm going to make it a bugbear just for fun. You see a bugbear, very lanky, very thin, not one from that group that's at the Adventurers League. Front teeth, come protruding, the bottom teeth protruding through the bottom lip, but one of his teeth is broken and he's got a metal cap on it. Not really of the brownish fur variety, but it seems like he might have some moss or something that has set in. He's got like a green hue to his fur, but seems healthy and strong. That's your crew.
It's just 2 people that I heard.
Human.
Oh, the human. Okay, sorry.
So yeah, so I'll write it down here for you guys. So it's the skinny human male from docks. From docks.
That's the one I
You got-
recognize.
The one that you recognize, the one that gave y'all shit because you didn't use the proper code.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. You got the older graying Khemri male. And the one feature that you notice about him is his nose is very, Khemri have a very prominent. I don't know if you guys are familiar with mandrills, commonly mistaken for baboons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rafiki is a mandrill, if you remember Lion King, where he's got like the blues and the whites and the reds in his nose. He very much has that going on with his nose. Like, it's very colorful. That's just a sign of an older Khemri, which in this world would be, they're not, hobgoblins don't exist, so they're replaced with Khemri.
Oh,
okay.
thinking like baboon people.
Yeah. He looks very much like, if you were to like look up 5e, like make sure you look up 5th edition art for a hobgoblin, he very much looks like that. but his nose is just much more colorful, like a mandrill. And then you have the lanky male bugbear that has greenish moss hue to fur.
They kind of look like the Oni in Eternal, the card game.
Yeah, kind of.
Hmm? Yeah.
The reddish hues and the features are.
Yeah, I really like the reinterpretation of the 5e hobgoblin. I don't like Pathfinder hobgoblins. I don't like the older versions where they're just like these gnarled monsters. I like this.
Everything that comes up from me googling Khemri tells me that we should immediately kill that person.
Oh no, not
Yes, do it,
Rob
Rob.
says murder. Let's go with murder.
Can we burn him? We got to arson people, right? We can arson people.
curious what
Rob,
comes.
if you convince him
Oh,
to off himself, you didn't actually do anything bad.
Yeah. Let me guess.
Start deception.
Looking up Tomb Kings. That's what come up with Khemri.
It's a lot of like Blood Bowl and
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah. The I like the name Khemri. I use it as the rename for
they're
hobgoblins.
like skeletal evil looking things.
They're the imperishable. Okay.
Yeah,
What
murder.
does that
dude.
even mean?
Look, I learned from Hague #1 that if it looks evil, it's probably evil. Just kill it.
Khemri are very Egyptian themed. But that's, again, not relation to this world. Sorry, that's Warhammer. Different world. Tomb Kings. But yeah, so y'all are up. Davis is snoozing underneath. Davis, super peaceful.
Wow, yeah, this is the best.
Yeah, long time. In fact, you can tell me when you decide to wake up. If you wanted to sleep 24 hours, I'd basically say, sure.
I imagine once it gets loud enough, I would naturally wake up. So it's just probably like another 8 hours, like a full 8 hours probably.
Yeah.
So probably midday, I'd say.
In fact, the thing that does wake you up is the bugbear comes down below deck and cracks open one of the barrels to get some salt and salt and alcohol preserved fruit, essentially, for the trip. And you just the cracking of the barrel wakes you in the smell of something kind of familiar and something.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah. And above deck, the rest of the guys, you've been up eating. So go ahead and please mark off our ration for all of y'all, and it will be supplemented. The next meal will be supplemented just by things that you can get off the boats and everything like that.
I have 3 fish left I can share if anybody wants fish for breakfast.
How are you gonna cook them?
Isn't there a galley on this boat?
Terrible.
You already, oh wait, you already cooked those fish. That's right. Those are
Yeah,
smoked.
I have 3 we cooked them all. So
So amongst y'all, you're able to get a decent meal. Davis will be a little bit late to join y'all. Have y'all been talking about anything, doing anything? Grant,
Oh.
before I forget, I got to interrupt. Al is still looking gray. Like he's not looking as gray, still looking gray.
I was not present for the ritual, right?
No, but you're
But
present.
he didn't like hide it from us. Like we kind of knew he was doing a thing.
Yeah, so
Or
there was no hiding that the fact that Cal, Al, and Rock went ahead and did the ritual, and there was no hiding the fact that Al was seemingly exhausted and lost a lot of color for multiple days. The entire time y'all were traveling, he was weak and tired, less of himself. You will notice that he started to look better, but now today he looks like he took a swing back. And then I got to answer this call again. My apologies.
no problem.
Pause it. Here, we can take a break. Hey.
Pebble flies down to Davis and squawks as loud as she can in his ear.
I'm up. I'm up.
Okay, so how are we gonna kill the Khemri?
Did you guys try Googling the way he spelled
Yeah, I did.
it?
They definitely look super
evil.
evil.
We kill those things.
Once I found the right spelling, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board.
I don't think that's
haven't
what he
seen
was
it.
describing by any means, but
Oh, there's a Blood Bowl picture. Holy shit, that's
Oh,
awesome.
the picture that I got, yeah, with some undead skeleton things. But I think he means like to look like
Yes.
hobgoblins. So they're
Hobgoblin.
like sort of cat-like almost, but not exactly.
You know, I've read about hobgoblins in so many
Okay,
things. I don't
yeah.
think I ever Googled what a hobgoblin's supposed to look like.
They have different meanings in different settings.
Oh yeah, they
Mhm.
vary quite a bit. Yeah, they can be whatever you want.
Alright, I'm gonna pause the recording.